You're watching with Talkmania, and I'm your host CJ. Welcome back to another album review. As you can see, the album review is Enemy Deceivers, one of the all-time best in the melodic death metal bands ever. One of my favorite melodic death metal bands ever. Um, they've had different vocalists over the years, and yeah, their current vocalist is absolutely great, Alyssa White. Uh, Absolutely great. Um, I almost seen them a couple of years ago, and the show got canceled, so I couldn't see them live. Well, yeah, it got canceled. It wasn't during COVID. It was previously like 2019, 2018, that type of range there. But yeah, they're on my bucket list to see live. Backstory with me with Arch Enemy is I've listened to them for absolutely forever, and so, when listening to the Alyssa era Arch Enemy, the albums I want them to be completely fucking intense and crazy and melodic at the same time, which this album is. It's got it's got the Arch Enemy sound that like has been prevalent on their last two. It lives up to their last two, honestly. This album from Arch Enemy shows why they are so big in the death metal scene. Albums like this is basically why I consider death metal to be my all-time favorite genre in metal, um, and in music. Period. Like metal is my favorite genre of music, and death metal is my favorite form of music because bands like Arch Enemy put together great albums that, like this album, that is fantastic. This album is not completely perfect in my opinion. It's 98% perfect. I'm scoring this one. I usually don't. I usually don't say where percentage is 98%. It's basically all perfect. But yeah, um, some of the riffs on this album is just absolutely fucking crazy. Like honestly, some of the riffs are just so fantastic and hard hitting. Um, This album is basically a vocals and guitar driven album. I do like the drumming on here too. There's a lot of like good drum parts. Um, and yeah, Alyssa does clean vocals on one of the songs on this album. I think Handshake with Hell, uh, which is the first of the best songs, as I say. Um, has clean vocals on this song. There's the classic Alyssa guttural vocals on here. The way the album starts off with a tap riff, like I can't really remember any album that starts out with a tap riff, but it's fantastic for doing that. It's very unique, very creative to do it that way. And just follow it up with some epic riffage on Handshake with Hell. Like, and the solo on this song. The solo on this song is also one of the best. Like, probably Handshake with Hell is my favorite song on this album, and it's the first song. So the rest of this album is kind of basically going off this song, but it's still really fucking good all the way through the album. Deceiver, the one that follows it up, is the other one that I had. I picked 5 songs, so it's like basically not in order of top 5, but as you can see where I'm going with that. This song is one of the singles released before the release of the album. Basically, all I can say is this song is fucking intense, and I could see why it was picked as the single to release before, or one of the singles to release before the album to get everybody hyped about it. Which I was really hyped about the Arch Enemy album after their last effort, and then War Eternal before it. Which, yeah, move on. The Watcher. Everything about this song, the riffs, the intensity, the drums, amazing. This is one of the songs that I consider to be have some of the best drumming on this album. Is on The Watcher. Sunset Over the Empire is one of the best because it contains some of the best riffs in the album and the best solo. Honestly, Sunset Over the like scratch that about Handshake with Hell being the best solo. Sunset Over the Empire like is one of those songs that you'd be amazed by some of the harmonics that they do in the solos. And yeah, the song is great. And the final one that I have picked for, and there was a lot of other ones I could have had, and it was very hard to pick between like which ones I should have put. But One Last Time, probably one of the best, most brutal songs on this album. Example, I'm going to give an example here. The riff at 20 seconds. The riff at 20 seconds is by far one of the most intense riffs that is the most intense riff on this album. Like, honestly. So, is it as good as the last album? No. Is it as good as War Eternal? No. I think War Eternal is probably going to be their, like, in my opinion, the best album that they've ever done and will ever do. And yeah, War Eternal is one of my favorite death metal albums ever. And yeah, this album is a fun listen, honestly. It's very fun to listen to, and I think that the more and more and more I listen to it, the more I'll like it. And that's basically how it is. But like I've listened to this album 6, 7 times already, so I've listened to it a couple of times to get used to it and to yeah, I'm not one. I used to be one of the reviewers that would just like listen to it once, and yeah, you can't do that. Like I learned that a while ago, where I can't do that. So yeah. So I hope everybody liked this video. There'll be another video following it up later. Um, that has nothing to do with metal or anything. It's just all personal, which I've never gone into personal stuff on this channel, so it'd kind of be neat. It's kind of be fun to like watch and get an insight of who I am and outside of YouTube. So hope everybody liked it. I will see you in the next video, and yeah, stay metal.